Hari Om, welcome to Transformational Thursdays. Second shloka from the chapter 16. Ahimsa satyamakroodaha tyaga shantirapaishunam daya bhuteshvalo luptvam mardavam hrirachapalam. The poetic translation from the rhythm of Krishna. Bereft of anger, practicing non-violence and truthfulness, self-giving, absence of false-finding and peacefulness, devoid of greed and holding a global compassion, modesty, tenderness, and an unswearing determination. Shri Krishna Paramatma says, Apaishunam, not finding fault in others, not gossiping about others, not slandering others, is again a divine feature. When we look at this with the divine responses and the asuric responses, the divine response would be to speak the truth always, not find fault in others, to choose silence over words that cause harm, and protect the dignity of others always. Whereas the asuric response would be enjoying talking about others' weaknesses, gossip justified as concern, taking pleasure by comparison, and realizing that ego is getting subtly stronger. Gossip is violence without bloodshed. Let's relate this with a small story. There lived a man in a village who unnecessarily spread rumors about his neighbor. One fine day, he felt guilty. Guilt overtook him, and he went to a wise elderly gentleman and asked what he could do. The wise elderly gentleman gave him a huge bag with feathers and said, "Go to the fields and scatter them all around." The man took the bag of feathers. It was a windy day again, and he scattered the feathers. The feathers were all around, they flew everywhere. Then the man went back to the elderly gentleman and said, "What should I do now?" The elderly gentleman smiled and said, "Now collect all the feathers and bring them back to me." The man exclaimed, "Oh, that's impossible." The elderly gentleman said, "That's exactly what has happened with your words about gossip. Once said, they fly out in all directions and they cannot be recalled. Choose your words wisely. Words once released cannot be got back. Words spoken wisely are your divine sampada. Choose your words wisely." Again, man is an evolving consciousness. Mistakes are done by everybody. Mistakes are done by you. Mistakes are done by me. Man is an evolving consciousness, and we have to evolve every day with every action of us. Ahimsa is not just non-violence applicable to your physical body, but it also has to do with your thoughts, with your intentions, and your actions. Ahimsa is compassion in action. Apaishunam is compassion with speech. Ahimsa begins when harmful speech comes to an end. Choose silence over gossip. Silence is not your weakness, but your total strength. When we gossip, we damage others' reputations. There is a disturbance in relationships, unrest in the minds, and without bloodshed, there is injury which is invisible, and it happens without weapons. When we look at the context of the king and his two sons with ahimsa and apaishunam as the behavior in mind, the two sons brought up in the same palace with the same nurturing, the same people around them. One son used his words to preserve harmony and peace, whereas the other son used his speech, used his words to create fear and control over others. The first son looked at silence as a positive aspect, which led to ahimsa. Speech was restrained, which again was benevolent with apaishunam. The other asuric qualities were with the second son. He went around carrying news that was termed as gossip, carried news around and held on to people's weakness by by gripping them with fear so that they had to obey him. Every day we stand where the two sons stood. It's a perfect reflection of our life. The change you want to see in others. Define each day, each situation, each instance to adapt suitable transformations to become a better version of yourself. I would like to end today with a quote from my Guru for you to ponder through the week. Curiosity's lower manifestation is gossip. It ruins you and others as well. The higher manifestation is innovation. It not only helps you, but it helps others as well. Thank you. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu.